Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, America, wherever you're out in social media land, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, all the other links that we're on through OBBM Network. I'm Ray Amanat here in sunny Port Richey, Florida, and my co-host, Mr. Steve Reed, is somewhere in an undisclosed location in northern Texas, and my executive producer, excuse me, Debbie, don't throw stuff at me, is Miss Debbie Schofield. Knock it off, Debbie. You know, we're going to give you your mention. Someday we'll have you on the show. But she's just evil. She's being evil.
Oh, Ray. What can I say?
I'd like to start the show off by expressing our heartfelt condolences to everyone in Hawaii right now that has literally lost everything they own, their houses and everything. I mean, I've seen the images. And I would have gone out and, or I would have said something. Well, I think we're still saying something a lot sooner than President Joe Biden. I think he might have said something yesterday or a few days ago. He more or less smiled and said something to the fact of maybe not my problem. I don't know.
I actually, Ray, I think what he said was, can I have some more chocolate chip ice cream?
I mean, the guy could have just taken a moment and said our hearts go out to the families.
Absolutely.
And he didn't do any of that. But now him and Jill are going to go visit Hawaii and look at all the damage and try to do damage control. Based on their lack of being a president to our country.
No question. Ray, I need to put this up early.
Ha!
Our weekly disclaimer. This is our opinion-based program. It is based on fact, but it is our opinions. And we do a lot of research. Now, we do a little bit of satire on this. But everything that we're talking about is based on facts, and much of it is to the credit of our amazing executive producer, Debbie Schofield. She is absolutely incredible.
Who needs to answer the question in the private chat?
Yes. Yeah, because I can't see it. So anyway, so that disclaimer is gone. But Ray, I was reminded of something, obviously, with our president, Donald J. Trump, being indicted for the fourth time. This time in the state of Georgia, in Fulton County, Georgia. I ran across a video that depicts the quality and the openness and the integrity and the fair-minded thinking of people that are affiliated with this latest indictment. So, Ray, I think we need to take a quick look at that. So,
lay it on me.
What do you think?
Personally want to hear from the former president. I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump of me looking at him and being like, do you solemnly swear? And me getting to swear him in. I kind of just thought that would be an awesome moment.
Can you believe that?
I mean, she's giddy. She's smiling. She's like, I can't wait
It's playtime.
to swear him in. I've been waiting for this moment, and it's like, I got you, I got you, I got you.
Ray, it's a game to these people.
It is.
It is a game to these people. They're not looking at the serious consequences of anything that's going on.
And what's sad, the Democrats are the only ones playing that game. The Republicans aren't playing the game back. Right. Which, in some ways, yes, they're trying to take the higher road, but in some ways, I wish they would get in the game. I wish absolutely. They would work together. I wish they'd say, okay, you guys going to play this game? We're going to show you what that looks like and give it right back to them.
Ray, I've got some ideas, and I'll share some of these ideas as we go through. But, after this latest indictment, I was reminded of an image that we looked at last week.
Right.
When you're on your third indictment, well, he's on number 4. So,
his poll numbers are going to go up
again. And folks, for our listening audience, we've got an image of Donald Trump sitting in a chair with his black sunglasses on, and the caption for this image says, "When you're on your third indictment, and it only makes the people love you more." And you can tell that he is the boss. There is no question. And he has the Democrats, liberals, socialists, communists, Marxists, whatever you want to call them, he has them shaking in their shoes because they know that when he is put back in office, he's going to go after every single one of them, and he will truly drain the swamp. I'm blown away. So, Ray, as I've been going through some of the things related to all of this scandal, the scam that's going on, there are several different things that keep coming up that are really pointing towards the criminality of the Biden family. And thank you, Debbie. We've got several videos that I want to share. Some of these videos that show some of what's going on. So we're going to start with the first one that's talking about some of the stuff with the activity reports that are going on, the suspicious activity reports. So hold on here.
His family.
Tell me how many suspicious activity reports you have seen. How much money do you expect that the Biden family has taken in? Update us on your investigation into this influence peddling.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's 170 suspicious activity reports, but then there's another several dozen suspicious activity reports that were filed on other people, but Biden family members were the subject of those, meaning they were involved in some type of transaction, involved with a major wire that had been flagged by a bank. That's what happens when you are engaged in money laundering, Maria. So we're trying to have access to Treasury. We want to go back. We've learned new information since we went in there the first time. We requested a limited number of suspicious activity reports. Those were all involving the Biden family. Now we've learned of some other deals and other transactions with other entities and other people that we believe the Bidens may be subject to those suspicious activity reports as well. So we're trying to get back in Treasury now as our investigation continues to grow. But I will tell you, it's unprecedented. As someone who has been involved in banking, there's never been an instance that I've ever heard of, or in talking to bankers around America, where a family has been involved in so many suspicious activity reports. This is where the bank files notice with the Treasury Department that they fear their client is engaged in some type of criminal activity. This is very serious, and the extent to which this family was involved in suspicious activities is breathtaking.
Can we educate our audience a little bit more about what a suspicious activity report is, along with money laundering?
You just read my mind. So here's the definition of suspicious activity reports. It is a document that financial institutions and those associated with their business must file with Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, Whenever there is a suspected case of money laundering or fraud, these reports are tools to help monitor any activity within finance-related industries that is deemed out of the ordinary, a precursor to illegal activity, or might threaten public safety.
I understand that you, at one point in your career, dealt with this, selling different types of insurance.
Yes.
Where you had to look for that. Can you elaborate on that a little?
Well, yeah. I sold life insurance for a bunch of years, and I've still got my license to do it. I'm not practicing in that area anymore. But every 2 years, I had to go through some pretty intense training on what is a suspicious activity report, but also going through the information on money laundering. And what is going on with the Bidens, with all of these shell organizations, the shell companies, the LLCs, that are they're producing nothing. They are shell companies. They're just empty companies that it's used to deposit money into, and then it immediately goes out to other accounts. Now, when I say immediately, generally there's about a 24 to 48 hour waiting period that it has to stay in that account, but generally no longer than that. So what they're doing is they're getting the millions of dollars from the Chinese and the Ukrainians and the Russians and so forth. The money is going into these accounts, and then it's going out. If I was still doing things in the insurance world, and I had a client that was doing something like this with an insurance policy, it is my obligation, my requirement. I have to fill out a report with FinCEN about this activity. I don't have a choice. And if I don't do that, then I could be criminally liable. I could lose my license in the process. And there could be charges filed against me as a co-conspirator or some other issues.
So we've got another video to add on to the one that we just saw. And it's talking about, well, the frequency. How often do banks have to go through this?
Exactly.
And well, let's roll that video and let people hear for themselves.
Here we go.
Well, how often does one get a suspicious activity report? How many suspicious activity reports would your average person get?
I would say the average person gets zero. These just don't happen very often. Now, the Democrats would try to spin a narrative that, oh, it's not uncommon. Everybody gets a suspicious activity report. It's like an overdraft fee or something. That is simply not true. I spoke to the Kentucky Bankers Association in Washington 2 weeks ago, and I was telling them about all these suspicious activity reports, and they couldn't believe it. I mean, a lot of banks in Kentucky anyway may not issue more than 1 or 2 suspicious activity reports a year. And you think about how many clients and how many transactions are involved with these banks. So it's very uncommon for an American to get a suspicious activity report. Most people who get suspicious activity reports are people who are foreigners who are doing business in America, people who are sending money to foreign countries that may or may not be legal citizens in the United States, and people involved in criminal activity, money laundering and things like that.
Wow.
Here's our definition of money laundering. Money laundering is the process of illegally concealing the origin of money obtained from illicit activities such as drug trafficking, corruption, embezzlement, and gambling by converting it into legitimate source. It is a crime in many jurisdictions with varying definitions. It is likely a key operation of organized crime. And I would
Biden
say
family. The Biden family.
I would say exactly the Biden
Biden
family.
Yep.
Again, Ray, it's a common practice amongst criminals. They don't want people to be able to see the money and where it's coming from and where it's going. So they open up these shell accounts. So
Wake the cluck up, America. Clucky the chicken has entered the room.
It is amazing.
Wake up. Do you guys see the writing on the wall yet? Clucky, you see it. See, Clucky agrees with us.
Absolutely. So, Ray, that's the tip of the iceberg from what we are seeing. And it seems like every other day there is another SAR that is released. There's more information, these suspicious activity reports. It started out with just 3 or 4 of them. And then it went up to 50 of them. Then it was 75. Then it was 100. And then it was 150. What did he just say? 177 suspicious activity reports.
But and for most people, it's only 1.
Here's the crazy thing. The whole time Donald Trump was in office, either before, while he was in office, or for the past 2.5 years, 3 years, has there ever been an announcement or an indication of a SAR with him or any of his children or anyone related to the Trump dynasty? I haven't heard a single thing.
Nope.
Crickets. Not anything. But instead, yep, exactly.
You wanted crickets, I'll give you crickets.
Yes, but I did hear that he broke the law recently. He was walking down a street in North Carolina, and he had an ice cream cone in his back pocket, and that was deemed to be illegal. So they're going to be pressing charges on him for that very, very soon. So, Ray, before we move on,
yeah, we got a commercial break.
We should take a quick commercial break. So, Ray, I think I'm just going to go ahead and tell people about Heroes in Action.
That's what I want. Latch on as soon as you can, make it hard. If I stand on one leg, can you yank me off balance? Yeah. If I stand feet wide, can you pull me off balance? Come on, what's the matter with you? How you doing? What was the first thing she did? She walked away. She took her eyes off of me. She looked away. I take her purse, I run. She goes to security, she goes to law enforcement. They're going to say, well, what did he look like? And you're going to be like, it happened so fast, I didn't see him coming. You didn't see him coming because I made you feel uncomfortable, and you took your eyes off me and walked away. The whole point is, and this does not mean I want you to go and flirt and talk to the person, or I don't want you to go, I see you. I just want you to, that's a cool shirt. I'd like to get that because my kids are in soccer. I'm letting you know I'm aware of you. I'm letting you know I can describe you.
That is a great video.
We've got more in production that we're making that's just going to give safety tip after safety tip after safety tip on what you can and cannot do to avoid being a victim of any type of bullying or violence. So stay tuned, America. More is coming. Yeah.
That was very well done. Now, Ray, I understand people can go to your YouTube page and see more videos of some good, quote unquote, hands-on training.
Yes. If they go to they can go to our website, or they can go to our YouTube page. Our website is heroesinaction.us. YouTube page is under my name, Ray Amanat. Okay. Ray Amanat. What else?
They can send
and all
you
the videos are different scenarios or compromising situations that you can get put in, the most common types, and how to get out of them physically and verbally.
That is pretty cool. I love it. And people can also send you money because
Yes.
you are a nonprofit organization.
We're a 501c3 nonprofit. Everything that we do is generally free to the public unless we travel outside of the Tampa region, of which our travel expenses are covered, airfare, hotel, gas expenses, rental car, whatever we need. That's the only thing we would need to charge for. Everything else, we do not charge.
And if people go to this QR code or to your website, they can actually donate and do a monthly contribution from
$5 all the way up to, if they want to make $1,000 a month or more donation, that will help us out with our overhead expenses, our printing costs. We want to get it to where all of our children's books are paid for, so we just hand them out to kids for free.
That is cool.
Right now, we're selling our books because that's helping cover some of our overhead costs. We don't even want to sell anything. We just want to give everything away.
So, Ray, I'm going to ask you a crazy question. If somebody came to you and they said, Ray, I want to cover your rent for the month of September, would you send them all your books and a cape and all of that other fun stuff?
If they were to cover that big of a nut, we would give them T-shirts, books, everything, just for supporting us. We're actually going to be making a new T-shirt that for anyone that makes a $25 or greater donation, they're going to get a T-shirt that says on the front, I'm a hero, and on the back, it's going to say, I donated to help prevent bullying, violence, and trafficking.
That is excellent. I can't wait to see the new items that you have for sale. So
absolutely.
All right, Ray. With that said, we need
to
keep
we
going.
Try to raise money on the up and up with our community, where we put it to good use rather than put it in our pockets. Unlike our first family here, that just seems to be corruption after corruption after corruption, and they keep digging up more and more on them. It's just amazing.
So, Ray, we talked about the SARs, the suspicious activity reports. We've talked about money laundering. And let's look very quickly at the RICO Act, which Mr. Trump and his co-conspirators have been charged with. The Racketeer Influenced and Corruption Organizations Act is the United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and civil cause of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization. And there were, I believe, something like 18 co-conspirators to Mr. Trump in this latest hoax that's coming out of Georgia.
President Trump was just asking for a recount of votes in Georgia and other places. And he's like, there's got to be 1,000 votes. There's got to be whatever, talking to the officials in Atlanta. And that's what they're going after him on. Whereas I believe Hillary Clinton did the same thing when she lost to Trump the first election. And there's other Democrats that did the same thing. That claimed foul and said, I want to recount or whatever. So why can't President Trump?
Because he's a Republican.
Oh, he's more than a Republican. He's
that's true.
He's
anti-establishment.
That's better. That is.
He's
better.
not part of the swamp. Yeah. So that's RICO. And you notice though, Ray, the last part of this definition of the RICO Act, it says an ongoing criminal organization. I'm seeing two other criminal organizations that are becoming very, very prevalent in our country today. One of them is the Biden crime family. There's no question it is a criminal enterprise. But the other one is you put
DOJ, FBI,
Jack Smith, DOJ, FBI, Alvin Bragg in New York, and this latest attorney or whatever her position is in Fulton County, Georgia. Ray, I guarantee that they colluded. They all talked with each other. That's the foundation for a criminal enterprise. They're all colluding to get Donald Trump, but not just Donald Trump, but all of the other people that were named in this indictment as well. It's amazing. Right. It is absolutely amazing. It's mind-boggling. And so
they're just trying to tie everything up, and they were saying that they want to indict him in 6 months, which is right at the height of him debating everyone else and going up against all the other Republican candidates. It's right at that height of him trying to become president again. It's amazing.
Ray, here's where I think all of this stuff is going to backfire. I believe that Trump and his team of exceptional attorneys, I believe that if they do go to trial on any of these things, if the Supreme Court doesn't throw all of this stuff out, but I would love to see all of the real evidence start being exposed and actually go before a judge and a jury to show all of the crimes that were committed, whether it was the Dominion stuff that was going on or the moles that were the mules that were moving illegal ballots around, or some of the other illegal things that were going on. I hope every single bit of that is exposed, and as a result, every single one of the people that were involved in it, from Hillary Clinton on down, I hope every single one of them is brought before a judge, a real judge, and is convicted.
Absolutely.
I hope it's all exposed. So I think that the Democrats may have played their cards the wrong way this time, because that Trump is not going to let this go unspoken.
Well, I mean, all we can do, this is a wait and see thing.
Yep.
And we need to wait and see the next video because we got to get to your commercial.
Well,
Mr.
I think we can do that.
Reed.
I think we can do that. I just have to pull that video up. So here we go.
Life isn't always sunshine and roses. Sometimes it's full of roadblocks. The kind that aren't as easy to fix as filling a hole or repairing a car. Personal roadblocks are another thing altogether. Why do I feel stuck? The same things anger me every time. Why am I doing this anyway? Fixing it yourself can be frustrating and confusing. And if more than one person is involved, DIY might mean destroy it yourself. Maybe it's time for another solution. Steve Reed shines a light on your roadblocks and helps you find the best way forward for you. Stephen Reed Ministries, bringing light and hope for a victorious life. To overcome your roadblocks, schedule an appointment with Steve Reed today.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, sir.
I think the Biden family needs your services because they're destroying everything, all the evidence and everything, and they're going to need some guidance. You need to shed some light on that.
Right, I think I'm going to pass on that suggestion. I want to see them all go down in flames.
They've got the money.
Yeah, they do.
Well,
yeah,
China has the money.
Yeah, Ray, I've been doing this now for the past 30 years, helping people get past the roadblocks and the issues and challenges. I've spent the past 14 years helping a lot of people deal with serious trauma issues, emotional trauma, victimization, abuse, abandonment, all of those types of things, rejection. And I love it when I can help somebody get past some of the trauma, and that light of hope starts to shine on them. And so I love doing that. I do a lot of communication coaching, helping people understand personality temperaments. And I do a lot of corporate type things, a lot of couples as well as individuals. And so if you're dealing with an issue, struggling of any sort, I would love to be able to help. You can reach me at info@StephenReedMinistries.com, and that's info@Stephen, Stephen, Reed, REED, Ministries.com. And you can even go to my website, which is, guess what? StephenReedMinistries.com. I got all kinds of information up there. So happy to help. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question there whatsoever. So, Ray, is it time for the next video?
Yes, please.
Well, I think we should do that. Let's go to Greg Jarrett and see what he's got to say.
Greg Jarrett is with us. He knows more than, maybe not Sean, but knows a hell of a lot more than I do. Greg Jarrett, how do you see it?
Well, I see this as a complete farce, and transparently so. This is more cover-up and corruption by Merrick Garland. And as you point out, you just put the graphic up on the screen, the Attorney General is not allowed to appoint David Weiss as special counsel because under federal regulations, he can only appoint somebody outside the U.S. government. Why? Because Weiss is conflicted. He works for Joe Biden. And Weiss is accused by IRS whistleblowers of political interference to protect the Bidens, allowing the statute of limitations to expire on the most serious felonies, tipping off Hunter's lawyers, scuttling the planned search warrants, foreclosing questions about Joe Biden's involvement, and of course, negotiating the absurd lenient plea deal. And I could probably name a dozen other acts of preferential treatment that the IRS whistleblowers testified to. I mean, look, David Weiss is the last person who should be appointed special counsel. This is the guy who effectively stopped the case against Hunter Biden and in turn Joe Biden. Evidence indicates that Joe Biden was complicit in his son's influence peddling schemes. So, you know, the bottom line here with the appointment of Weiss as special counsel, the fix is in. This is a sham. And when you think of it this way, David Weiss himself is getting a sweetheart deal because he can drag this out, letting more statutes run. He can pretend to investigate and do nothing as he did before. And now the important part is he doesn't have to answer any questions from Congress about his obstruction and the suspected lies that he put in writing. So, you know, Hunter Biden is probably doing cartwheels. He's not only gotten rich, but he effectively got away with it. This is the definition of corruption by Garland, and he is further destroying the public's trust in the Department of Justice.
Mind-boggling.
Unbelievable.
You know, Ray, I went ahead and I did a search on the World Wide Web, and I wanted to see what the definition was of, or the requirements for a special counsel. Yeah, and let's take a look at what this has to say. We're going to keep going to the next slide here. Qualifications for the special counsel. Now, this is not from some slouch organization. This is not from Wikipedia. This is from the Cornell University Law School. And it says that the special counsel must be someone with a high reputation for integrity and impartial decision-making. Do we see that with David Weiss?
No.
And let's see, that they must do things expeditiously and thoroughly. Let's see, wait a second. There were
No.
Exactly.
I'm going back to the Saturday night skit.
Yeah, 2 years of tax returns that it was very evident that Hunter did not pay taxes on money from China or Russia or Yugoslavia or Poland or Venezuela or whatever other foreign country. He didn't pay taxes. And David Weiss let the statute of limitations expire on that. I mean, millions of dollars that he should have paid in taxes on his illegal stuff. Oh, but there is more. Let's see. The special counsel shall be selected from outside the United States government. Ray, I'm not sure, but has David Weiss not been working for the Justice Department for the past 5 years?
Yes.
So, in other words, we've got a problem that Merrick Garland has broken the rules, but they don't apply to him. He doesn't care. So, Ray, I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's about all they're worth is that, and they need to drain the swamp. They need to drain that toilet. They're all full of crap, in my opinion.
Ray, I am so hoping in January of 2025, when Donald Trump is put back in office in his rightful position, I sure hope he lets the alligators out.
Yep.
He just needs to get rid of all of the swamp creatures.
Well, there's a lot of the point. Even Governor DeSantis, in one of his speeches recently at the Iowa State Fair, said that if he were elected president, he would want to just fire or get rid of department after department of all the people and get new people in that are sworn to uphold our Constitution, and reset it and minimize the government, reduce the government considerably. It's our government has gotten way too big for itself, where everyone is finger pointing and putting blame on someone else. Exactly. Not taking responsibility for their actions or decisions. And it's gotten so big that I think the general public is actually confused. Well, it's the government, so it must be right. No, it's not. They're doing everything by breaking the rules. It's the government is too big. We need smaller governments so we can hold more people accountable for their actions and get rid of this finger pointing.
Yeah. Ray, I've got one more video on money laundering. Let me run this one real quick.
President Tom Fitton is with us this morning. Tom, do you know anything more of what these big revelations are that are supposed to be coming out tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, reading between the lines, it looks like Burisma, which was the board that Hunter joined, that was the legitimate part of their business enterprises. What we're seeing here is just naked money laundering, and it's backed up evidently by banking records the committee was able to get. These aren't just Treasury reports that I think they have more restrictions on in terms of the details they can offer, but these banking records are supposedly astonishing in terms of the scope of what was going on here. The money was being laundered into accounts. Cash was going out of the accounts in large amounts, and allegedly the accounts were being used to basically pay for the living expenses of the Biden family members. This is an extraordinary scandal that goes even beyond President Biden. And so when you have Biden say, Hunter did nothing wrong, he's going to have to answer the question, why was his family getting all this money? What were they doing in return? As I said, in Burisma, you know what they were paying for with Burisma. At least it was a going business concern. They hire connected people like Hunter Biden. You understand exactly what's happening. But here you've just got cash going in, cash going out, no evidence of business other than naked money laundering. And
right, one of the transactions that I remembered hearing about recently was a $170,000 deposit that went into one of Hunter's accounts, and the next day he bought a brand new Porsche. Almost to the exact penny, from my understanding. So
Wow.
there's so much corruption that's happening. It is insane. So, Ray, I totally agree with you. So
And that's us keeping this PG.
Yep.
PG-13.
Ray, we need to take one more real quick break and talk about our friends with the OBBM network.
Now your DFW events can be listed on the DFW events segment of OBBM Network News. New episodes posted each week are reaching people right here in your own backyard. Get in on this. Now it's affordable to reach thousands of people in new markets, offering exposure to your professional network like never before. Get us your listing by Tuesday at noon, and you'll be included in the following week's release on Monday. Email info@offbeatbusiness.com for our digital media kit and discover a better way to reach DFW. Not hosting events? Your business will benefit from the exposure our events list generates. Take advantage of brand exposure on the ticker or with the logo graphic, video advertisement, even a QR code. Click on our QR code to access our digital media kit now.
And that digital media kit is not just for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it is nationwide. So they are directly affiliated with people like Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple, iTunes,
Rumble,
all of the other major podcast locations where you can find us and all of the other great programming from OBBM Network. So if you want to advertise, great place for you to go. Make sure that you mention Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. Send your money our way so that we can be rich and famous like Hunter. But we'll provide something.
So, another thing that people can do, if you would like Steve, myself, or the both of us to come out as keynote speakers or speakers for any event that you might have going and you think we would be a good fit for your corporate or organization's event that you've got planned, we would love to show up and be a part of your event. Just get a hold of us at Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve at gmail.com, and we'll get all the details and put together an outstanding presentation that your audience will never forget.
Oh, there's no question there.
Just for you.
There is no question there. So they can reach us at Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve at gmail.com. So that's Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve at gmail.com. So, Ray, we are very quickly running out of time. I've got one more short video clip I want to share. Again, thank you to our amazing producer, Debbie Schofield. So let's see if I can pull this one.
Whoa, Debbie, stop it.
Is she doing it again?
Here's Turley right now. Fox News contributor. Jonathan, good morning to you. And welcome to our coverage. Here's the indictment. We used 3 sets of staples to put it together. It's about 100 pages in length here. You read it. What do you make of it?
It's excessive, and I think it's also dangerous. It essentially criminalizes challenges to elections. There's no sort of limiting principle in this document. You know, they are charging things like the president saying publicly we need to have a recount. You know, Democrats and Republicans challenge these elections routinely. I've covered elections for various networks. I don't know how many now, but we often, if not always, have these challenges. Some are more supported than others, but they're not crimes. They're seeking judicial review, and that assures the public that there's someone watching over these elections. What's concerning, particularly about this, is that Willis didn't really show any semblance of restraint. She indicted everyone for everything she could think of. It is sort of the Jackson Pollock School of Prosecution. She threw it all against the canvas. And I think she is hoping that some of these other co-defendants will flip. But having said that, I think that the Trump team has to realize that this is a serious threat. Not because of the merits, but because as a racketeering case, it's very hard to take these cases up on appeal before trial. It's very hard to get them dismissed on threshold questions. Willis will argue that she should have the right to present her evidence in trial in court. That is likely to be successful. Also, this is not a case that can be dismissed with a federal pardon, whether by Trump himself or by an elected Republican. That's why this has to be taken seriously.
Now, I got a question for you, Steve. Is there a correlation between every time something happens to the Biden family that something happens to Donald J. Trump?
Oh, you mean something like on March 17th of this year, Hunter admitted that the laptop was in fact his, and the next day, Donald J. Trump was indicted in New York.
Oh my gosh. Is there more?
What a coinkydink. And then on June 8th, the FBI docs showing some of the bribes were finally revealed. And what a coinkydink. The next day, Donald Trump was indicted again.
Oh my gosh.
There's no way.
Is there more?
Well, yeah, on July 26th, Hunter's plea deal collapsed, and the next day, Donald Trump was indicted again.
It's mind-blowing. Is there more?
Lightning strikes 3 times in the exact same place within 4 months of each other. And on July 31st this year, Devin Archer testified before a House committee, and the next day, Donald Trump was indicted. How could that possibly be? Right? Here's the amazing thing. Yes, there is more. I promise there's more. There has never been a former president indicted like this, much less 3 times up to this point. And let's just keep going. Number 4. So on August 9th, more damning Biden bank records are released.
Really?
Yeah, I know. It's just amazing. On August 11th, the Justice Department illegally designates a special counsel, David Weiss.
Say it isn't so.
It isn't so. Yes, I'm afraid it is. And then on the 14th, whistleblower transcripts were released. Oh, what is that final one? Oh, my gosh. On the 14th,
one more time,
Donald Trump was indicted for the 4th time. What are the odds? This is what you call a criminal enterprise. And I hope that when Donald Trump is completely exonerated and he gets back into the White House, he starts going after every single one of these criminal people.
And I hope his team is compiling all the evidence on everybody.
You know they are. Ray, I've got one last thing that I've got to share. And actually, I want to replay just very briefly.
Personally want to hear from the former president. I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump of me looking at him and being like, do you solemnly swear? And me getting to swear him in. I kind of just thought that would be an awesome moment.
And that woman was in part responsible for the indictment, most recent indictment in Georgia against Donald J. Trump.
And she's happy about it.
A
former sitting president, she's happy about. I get to take down Donald Trump.
Yeah. A former president who has done nothing wrong. He only made the country better. So, Ray, I think we're going to have to go through that list again in the future and list all of the accomplishments for Donald Trump as opposed to all of the failings of Joseph R. Biden. Yeah, exactly. Ray, November of 2024 can't come soon enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, do your research, do your homework, be critical thinkers, be informed voters. Don't just take our word for it, even though we're doing our research, but do your own homework and wake the cluck up, America. Wake the cluck up. Our country is in dire straits and in need of more patriots. Won't you join us in being patriots and upholding our Constitution and shedding light on the darkness of what we call communism and corruption?
You know, Ray, I was listening to Dan Bongino recently, and he made a comment, I believe it was yesterday, that we no longer live in a constitutional republic. What the Democrats, Marxists, socialists, communists, what they are doing right now is not a constitutional republic. It is a banana republic, and they are trying to destroy the country. And that means, Ray, you and me, they are trying to destroy us. So, but thankfully, there are a lot of voices that are waking up.
Just think, ladies and gentlemen, everything that they're doing to Donald J. Trump, if they succeed, they have the blueprint to do that to anyone else,
Exactly.
including you or us.
Exactly.
Wake up,
So,
America.
On a happy note, Ray, have a blessed Wednesday afternoon and go out and help change some more lives. Appreciate what
Absolutely.
you do.
You as well. You as
Thanks,
well.
buddy. Take care.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at tabootalkwithrayansteve@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode. This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.